And welcome back to One Hub Racing. Qualifying night is over. All the drivers have been placed in their tiers. They've found themselves their teammates, and tonight across 3 races you will see 60 drivers going head to head. Over the next 11 weeks they've got a break week in the middle for the mental health charity night, but there will be 10 rounds of the championship to decide who will be champions in the top tier, the prestige tier, in the precision tier, and in this tier, the pinnacle tier. All 20 drivers are here tonight. I am your commentator, Luke Etheridge. Hopefully Liam will be able to join. I know he's had a few technical issues, so hopefully he might be able to join us later on. And if he did, it would be great to get his perspective, former driver in the podium tier this year, and it should be fascinating. It's definitely going to be unpredictable. 11 debutants across this tier. There are still a few old faces in though. You've got Gazaman, who was in last season, got a podium in the last race, but he won't be too happy with how the whole season went. He'll be trying to do better on. Aaron, he's back in the Ferrari. He was there for the first 2/3 of last season and had a real chance of being the driver's champion until he had to leave for reasons outside of his control. We've also got a few other drivers who that could be here tonight. We've got team commentary. Only one of them is going to be here tonight. Jess Gamer95, the head of commentators for One Hub. She is in the Racing Point, and her fellow Pink Panther, Alex Lilliart, can't make it this evening, and he is your normal prestige commentator. But in the end, it will be Kieran who is taking over tonight in the top tier. So all the drivers will be getting ready shortly. If you're unfamiliar with how the league structure works and the race structure, 18-minute qualifying session, your standard short qualifying, followed by a 50% distance race. It is definitely going to be one to watch, and we're starting round 1, in case you haven't already seen it, at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix. After this week, we'll be in France, China, Austria, Singapore. Then we have the break for the mental health charity race, and I'm sure that will be a fantastic event, including drivers across all the tiers. Then the final half of the season, Canada, Germany, Belgium, Britain, and ending, as feels right, at the Jose Carlos Pache circuit in Brazil. So it should definitely be a fascinating race. Who do you guys think is going to be favourites for the championship? A lot of new people. We've got Schumacher in a Ferrari. Just feels right saying that, doesn't it? One of the, as I mentioned, 11 debutants. Just go through all the new people we've got this season as we go down the list that I've got on my screen here. You've got Dexter, has actually raced before, but as I said, Schumacher, he's a debutant. Jess Gamer, a debutant. Jonas Ulbricht, 10 podiums, but yet to get a victory. So let's see how he can do. Truth is a debutant. Chris making his debut alongside Gazaman in the Red Bull, so that could be useful for him. Having a experienced teammate. Indecisive debutant Rich, he is also making his debut. Catboy Key we saw towards the end of it last season, as we did with Astronauti. So loads of these guys. Got Eva Hannon as well. He's in the Mercedes. He's definitely going to be one to watch in the Mercedes this season. They could be looking good for the Constructors' Championship. A few different rules for the drivers to contend with, as opposed to normal Formula 1. You do get a point for the fastest lap if you finish in the top 10. But for the drivers that are outside of the top 10, they also get a point for the fastest lap. Not combined, so it's not the fastest lap across the whole race will get 1 point. Whoever's the fastest in the top 10 and whoever's the fastest outside the top 10 is guaranteed a point for setting the fastest lap. That means it is all to play for, and it can be so important at the end of a season, especially in such a short of season as this. And another rule which might catch a few of the drivers out tonight is the 2 pit stop rule. You have to pit twice during the race, so that's going to see a few different strategies. Expect to see the drivers not having to bother too much about saving tyres. They know they can afford to push that little bit harder. And additionally as well, if they get knocked out on lap 1 and have to pit because of a loss of a front wing, not all is lost, because they will still have to make another pit stop and they can adjust their strategy accordingly. Just waiting in the hope that Liam can join us. He's had a few issues with his headset. I should quickly mention as well, all the champions, the drivers' champions in one hub, have an opportunity to win themselves a Next Level Racing stand. All the streams are sponsored by Next Level Racing. If you want to check out their product, feel free to use the link in underneath the stream for their official UK retailer. Do a full range of stands, cockpits, and even some joystick gear if you prefer your wings keeping you up in the air rather than keeping you down to the track. So we've got some support for Schumacher here. We've got some nerves kicking in for Jess and for Schumacher. It's going to be an unpredictable tier, as I mentioned. 11 debutants, got some different ones here. 2 debutants in the Renault, Nicky and TC. We see Riley there in the Alfa Romeo. He got himself 4 podiums last season in what was his first one-up season, and 1 driver of the day. Definitely showed some good pace. And can he convert that to a proper championship challenge? I know, talking to a few of the drivers separately, a lot of people seem to think that Aaron, Gazerman and Ivahanen, perhaps unsurprisingly, given their vast wealth of experience, are going to be the favourites for this championship. But with so many new drivers, who knows what could happen. One of the things that makes One Hub so unique is the media day. So all the drivers yesterday have to, if they want to, answer a list of questions, and some of the drivers get given a bit of a grilling, to put it nicely, in the press conference by Nick. It was Jonas's turn for the podium tier this week. You get 1 from Podium, 1 from Precision and 1 from Pinnacle. And they were saying basically that he was impressed before back on F1 2018, but he struggled a bit on this and has found himself knocked back down to Podium. There's no shame in that. There's quite a few drivers. If you've ever watched the F1 Esports event, Brandon Lee dominated on the older Formula 1 games, but seems to have struggled a bit on 2019. So we're just waiting here. We've got someone here who thinks Jess might get on the podium. She has shown some good form in some of the other leagues that she competes in. She may be a newbie to driving in One Hub, but she's definitely not a newbie overall. And write her off at your peril. It was so close on qualifying night between all the drivers, really, that, as I've mentioned so many times, I can't stress it enough, anything can happen. Murray Walker said that. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Should just be another couple of minutes getting away. Jonas, actually, as mentioned in the press conference, he's back in his original team. He started with McLaren way back in Season 10, back on F1 2017, back before the Halo was a thing. Back then, Halo was just an Xbox game and a Beyonce song. But he got his first start with McLaren. He got his first podium, so maybe joining the McLaren team might give him some pace back. There is also the pre-race interviews, as I mentioned, 5 questions that all the drivers have to answer, just to give a bit of a view of how they're feeling. Jess saying she's had to do a lot of practice, and every race she has done, there has been a safety car. Maybe Jess is some sort of jinx, but we'll have to see whether that changes tonight or not. Scrolling through, we've got a lot of different people here feeling fairly confident for the race. Why should they? A clean slate for everyone. Everyone's starting, obviously, on 0 points. No penalties to worry about. No real massive pressure on them in the first race. It's just going out and enjoying it. And Bahrain, I know it's not the most popular track amongst all the drivers. It is, to be honest, one of my favourites. It has 3 DRS zones, so overtaking is a huge possibility around this circuit. 1 on the main straight, 1 on the next straight, and that's where you see a lot of action happening. If you don't quite get the turn moved on through turn 1 and 2, you can fight on the next straight heading into turn 4 at the exit of the final sector. So hopefully the drivers should be readying up any minute now. Got here some luck here for Jess and Dexter. Someone mentioned his where's Liam. He's unfortunately, his headset, there's no other way of putting it, exploded on his head before he started. Not That makes it sound quite dramatic and quite gruesome. Like it disintegrated, that's probably a better word. Schumacher's first race without braking assist and with manual errors. So he might find it a bit of a struggle tonight, or he might surprise himself and find some fantastic pace. Because you've kind of got to do that if your name's Schumacher and you're driving in a Ferrari. You're giving yourself big pressure to live up to. Anyway, the majority of the drivers have readied up, just a few seconds away from their first one hub qualifying session of the season. You've got 30 of these to enjoy across all three tiers, as I mentioned, between now and the end of June. Hopefully it's a good one to get us underway. Bahrain circuit first made its appearance in Formula 1 way back in 2004 now. Even though it's been a modern circuit, it's been a mainstay every year apart from in 2011 where it had to be cancelled because of the unrest in Bahrain. And obviously we don't know what's happening with the 2020 situation. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Formula 1 wanting to find out, and I'm sure they'll do the best they can to get as many of the races back as possible. So what do we know about the Bahrain circuit? As I mentioned, first used back in 2004, 2014, that famous 2014 Grand Prix that I'm sure a lot of us were watching on F1 Rewind the other week. It was the first time it was used as a night circuit. Been on the same layout, apart from in 2010 where they drove on the full endurance layout, and that was definitely a one-time experiment, not to be repeated, was not very popular. And unsurprisingly, given that we are in the middle of the desert, it is beautiful dry conditions for all the drivers. Expect to see the soft tyres being used by a lot of the drivers in qualifying. The two-stop strategy means they don't have to be as careful on the tyres as possible. You may see a few try and sneak into the top 10 on the mediums and do a medium soft strategy to be faster towards the end of the race, and also to give themselves the best possible opportunity of securing that fastest lap. See now, just heading along. Some of the drivers now exiting the pit lane. See Jonas, he's exiting. Both McLarens coming out at the same time, but Kingan in the Williams, he's one of the first drivers out on track. He was in the podium tier last season. Was teammates with Foggy and then with Catboy Key towards the end of the season. This time around he is alongside Indecisive, so we'll have to see how these two do together. And who do you guys think could be favourites for the constructors? I know I've talked about the drivers, Aaron, Gazaman and Eva Hannon are a lot of teams being mentioned. Do you think it'll be the typical top teams that we see, Ferrari, Mercedes or Red Bull? Could it be Haas or Renault, two teams who across all of one hub have yet to win a Constructors' Championship? So this is the best possible opportunity for them. Such a short season, of course. Any mistakes can cost you. You can't win the season in the first couple of races, but you can definitely lose it. We'll follow Kingan round, one of the many race premium drivers that are racing in the podium tier. If you're not familiar about racing premium, you pay a £10 fee that guarantees you entry for a full 12 months of season, so 2 full seasons basically, and you get a few nice additional perks, like being the first man around the track with an onboard guide of this Bahrain circuit. It is Kingan now heading down this 1 kilometre long main straight, extremely heavy braking down into turn 1, down to first gear, slowest corner on the track, but it's all about keeping it smooth, nice and steady through 2 and 3. DRS open once again on the run to turn 4. Expect to see a lot of overtaking in the race round here, inside, outside, perhaps even through if you get a bit of lag. Anything is possible. Now the downhill S's. Can't really afford to go side by side through here. Got to be nice and careful, and heavy braking once again into turn 8. Braking and turning makes it extremely easy there to lock the front wheels if you don't have ABS on. And another corner where it's extremely easy to do that is turn 10, one of the trickiest corners on the track. Straightening up the car nice and early. DRS open once again for the run down to turn 11. Even though DRS is available here, it's not the easiest of overtaking opportunities. Taken at 4th gear, and you can see Kingan there just running wide and missing the apex. That's going to compromise him through 12 where you see a lot of cars hit the curb, and we've got a 5-place grid penalty for Schumacher already for a collision with Catboy Key, so a nightmare start for the Ferrari debutant. We're going to follow Kingan round towards the end of the lap, braking for turn 14. Turn 15 is just a tiny kink, you're flat all the way through. Kingan, first man across the line to set a fast lap time, and it's a 1:28.2. Expect to see the times coming down throughout the session. Eva Hannon's already invalidated his lap. We'll see how Aaron does. As mentioned, one of many people's favourites this season for the championship. Was looking very good in the first 2/3 of that season last season before Nexus Iceman took over and dominated the finale. Of course, Aaron had left by that point as Jonas Ulbricht sets the fastest lap so far. We are 1:28.0. Aaron on the hards, interestingly, 1:29.3. I'm just going to try and have a look actually at Schumacher's car to see if he does have any damage, because we did see it come up that there was a collision, and yeah, definitely whole front wing missing. So I wonder if they've just been caught out in the traffic as they have been going around. Toro Rosso Rich comes across the line. It's a great start for him as well. Second position at the moment for one of our debutants here. So most of the drivers looking pretty good on their first laps. See what Gazerman can do. The mainstay of One Hub. More wins than anyone else in this tier. More podiums than anyone else in this tier. More drivers of the day. 2 Constructors Championships, but yet to get a Drivers' Championship. Could this be the season in the Red Bull? Follow him round now towards the end of the lap. Still Jonas Ulbricht, Rich and Kingan. Third place in the end, and he definitely left some time out on track, so he'll be pretty happy in the Williams. Just over 2/3 of the session to go. Most of the drivers have been out and set their first laps, or are out on their laps now. Bit of traffic there. You can see Lee Hoffner and a McLaren up ahead. I believe that's probably Jonas. Heading towards the line now. Gazerman, what can he do for his first foray in qualifying? It is third place, just behind Rich, and you can already see how close it is going to be. Top 5 separated by just 0.3 of a second. TC DRS opening on the Renault now. What can he do in his debut season? One of the race premium drivers as well. Follow the Renault around. Good control through there, handling it well in the yellow. Like I said, them and Haas yet to win a Constructors' Championship, and Haas with Catboy Key. Possibly do they have a slight advantage in the fact that they've got a driver who has raced last season. We'll have to wait and see, because he looked fast at some tracks, but maybe just a bit inconsistent. Will that carry on into this season? TC, he comes across the line now. It's good enough for 7th place at the moment. Riley, interestingly, 9th on the hard tyres. He is the fastest man on those hards. See, nicking out teammates of TC, just heading to start their first lap. 11 minutes 20 seconds to go, and it is Jonas Ulbricht, Rich and Gazerman, the top 3 at the moment. But as mentioned, still a long way to go. Riley has gone for the soft tyres in the end, and it's hard for Aaron, still the fastest, and he's doing quite a few more laps on them, so we'll have to see if he can keep that up. It is possible, of course, on the hard tyres. Might be better just to warm them up a bit, so if you set that time on a faster fuel load, he could definitely be one to watch. Eva Hannon, though, he's one to watch at the moment. Purple in Sector 1. Nice and smooth in the Mercedes. And I've got to say, Mercedes are my pick for the Constructors' Championship in the Podium tier. Some comments here about Schumacher's penalty being unfair. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it on stream, and unfortunately can't appeal a grid penalty. So Schumacher is going to have the bit between his teeth to fight his way up the field in the Ferrari. It's 10th and 16th at the moment, the Ferraris. Purple once again for Eva Hannon. Some yellow flags in Sector 2. That's just for cars heading out the way, and he's getting a lovely assist here from Schumacher down the straight. Slightly compromised his line perhaps into the final couple of corners. We'll see if that cost him any time. I'd be surprised if it's not enough to knock him off pole position. Half a second. Purple in every single sector from Eva Hanen looking very, very nice in the Mercedes so far. Aaron still going around on those hard tyres. And 11th place at the moment. Slightly improved in the first sector, but down in the second sector. So maybe we'll see him dive towards the pit. A few drivers setting times on mediums now. Indecisive, just coming around on those medium tyres. 13th at the moment. Teammate up in 5th. Top 10, reminder, do have to start qualifying. Do have to start the race, sorry, on the tyres that they have qualified on. So starting 11th place can sometimes be a blessing in disguise. And already quarter of a second up on their fastest from Indecisive, but just running off circuit there through the S's. Very easily done. Strict corner cutting is on, so pretty much anywhere where you put 4 wheels off the racing line, off the tarmac, you are going to get yourself a penalty. Catboy Key involved in that collision with Schumacher. Fortunately, we missed that, but neither him or Schumacher have set a lap time yet. See what number 19 in the Haas can do. Black and gold car. Ayrton Senna's helmet evoking some powerful memories. And Catboy Key, in the end, 12th place. But on the mediums, of course, over top 10, unsurprisingly on the softs. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more drivers heading to start on the soft tyres. Haven't spent time with Mr. Steam at the moment. 19th, his teammate Rich still in 4th position, and it is a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment after 10 minutes of qualifying. It's rare that I get any of my predictions right, but Eva Hanen and Astronauty 1 and 2 at the moment. Is there going to be a bit of teamwork here between Stim and Rich? I doubt it, because they are both on flying laps according to the timing tower, so might get a bit of assistance for the rear Toro Rosso, but it won't be enough to make a huge difference. Let's see what they can both do. And Rich is going purple, and we've got another 5th place penalty for Just Chris with Truth NRP. These stewards are loving giving out these penalties at the moment, aren't they? See what Rich can do then, heading around the final corner. Purple in the middle sector, so expect to see him move up at least 1 place, and it's good enough for pole position at the moment from him. His teammates dived into the lane, but Rich 127.466. We're seeing them times starting to come down now. Jonas did improve as well, but only 127.9, good enough for 4th position at the moment. Jonas's teammate Truth, he'll be heading towards the pit lane, I feel, on this lap. He's got a Red Bull behind him of Chris, just about to start his flying lap. Is that coming around the final corner? It's Astronauti. He's also heading to the pit lane. Eva Hanen, he's on a bit of a different timing to all these people, of course. I'm not surprised to see him in the pit. Schumacher slowest at the moment. Still 6.5 minutes to go. Plenty of things can change. Some support for Gaza. The man's been around for so long. He's bound to get some support. Jess just ahead in 15th place. She'll be looking to move her way up. As I mentioned, the sole racing point tonight. Alex, the only driver missing it because he is at work. Credit to all our key workers that are trying to keep everything running as smoothly as possible in this very difficult situation. But with just 1/3 of the qualifying session to go, there is the man who's on provisional pole position at the moment. It is Rich. He'll be heading back to the pit lane, and he'll have enough time to get one more lap done. Aaron on the outlap on the medium tyres. This is going to be one to watch. How far can he get up the grid in this Ferrari on the mediums? He did this a lot last season, started on harder tyres, especially at the start of the season, and it's helped him a lot in the race. So you'd expect him to at least move up into the top 10, and if he can start on those mediums, he'll go a lot longer in that first stint and be lightning towards the end. Down towards turn 4, we'll get a bit of an indication what sort of time he's expecting. Purple, I think, would be a miracle, but he's definitely a man who can do some amazing performances. He is nearly 3 tenths up on his personal best at the moment, so won't be surprised to see him get up around about where Hoffner and Dexter are on the 4th row by the time he's gone around the rest of the corners. Keeping it nice and steady there. No traffic ahead of him, so he's not going to have any distractions, but won't be able to use any slipstreaming either. Now turn 11, 12 and 13. These corners can be nightmares once your tyres start wearing out. We've seen a lot of cars spin around turn 12 here. Aaron keeping it nice and careful. He has gone purple in the middle sector. 9 tenths up on his personal best. Perhaps I didn't give him the credit he is due. He could shoot right up the field here. Gazaman and Kingan's time could be under pressure by this medium tyre lap from Aaron. Coming now across the line, DRS about to open on the main straight. Aaron in the end, 6th position, 128.263. That is a marker laid down by him. See how some of us do. Lee Hoffner, he's 3 tenths up on his personal best in sector 2. So this is going to take him just behind Aaron and King, and can he improve? In fact, he goes ahead of them and ahead of Gazaman. Well, so he is in 6th place at the moment. 3.5 minutes to go. A lot of drivers in the pits. Jess, she's just started one of her final flying laps. Should get another opportunity. TC 13. Moment, improvement in the first sector. You can see the drivers getting more and more confident now and pushing harder and harder. He's 6 tenths up on his personal best. Let's see what they can do. TC now heading around across the final corner in the Renault. Can he sneak himself back up into the top 10? Have to wait and see. And it is a 128.134. 6th fastest at the moment, but purple in the final sector. So that car, Renault, looking very good in that final sector. A lot of straights there. He's a set-up choice by him. Gazaman, he's just started qualifying. This could well be his final flying lap. You've got Eva Hannon, Astronauti not far behind. TC has retired as well. So all these guys running in a row. We'll follow Gazaman round, see what they can do at the moment. In the Red Bull, slight improvement from him in the first sector, only a tiny bit though, 0.02 of a second. Can he challenge Rich on that 127.466? Fastest man out of qualifying at the moment. No one been able to challenge him at the moment. Riley's got up to 5th on the medium tyres with a 127.9. That is a stonking lap time on those tyres. We know he's got the pace. He's showing that so far. Some more movements. Chris, Gazaman's teammate, he's gone up into 7th place. Purple in the middle sector from Gazaman, but it's only a 10th improvement over his personal best. So we'll have to see what kind of improvement he can find in the final sector. Doesn't need to find much to move up ahead of TC here. Get onto that 3rd row in 6th place, as long as he keeps it clean around the final corners. Looks like he has done, and indeed he does move up into 6th. Eva Hannon though, pole position, 126.988. Astronauti unable to improve on his time. Kingan has invalidated his lap, and will he have time for another one? Definitely. Will he have fuel for another one? That is a different matter. Dex has invalidated his lap, so won't be able to make an improvement this time around, and is just going to have enough time to get around for one more. Now Rich, what can you do? And he's already invalidated, I believe. Rich already invalidated his lap. Let's just make sure it's not a glitch. He's still pushing hard though, so maybe that is just a bit of a visual glitch on that timing screen. Jonas Albrecht, he's heading now around the end of the first sector as well. 4th position at the moment. What can he do in the first sector? It's purple. Improvement from him. So Jonas looking good at the moment, but it's still Eva Hannon, Rich, Astronauti. Most of the drivers now will be starting their final laps. Those that haven't retired, Nicky and Mr. Stim at the bottom of the leaderboard, still yet to set a lap time. Jonas was looking good in the McLaren early on in this qualifying session. Hold provisional pole for a bit. Checkered flag will be out any moment now, and it's looking good for the Mercedes drivers at the moment. Yellow flags, cars just getting out of the way. There is the checkered flag, so Riley, Chris Hoffner, Truth. You can see the checkered flags by the name. Those in the pits as well, obviously. So Dexter, who'll be down in 13th. It's purple again in the middle sector from Jonas. He is looking fantastic at the moment. Can he keep it clean? Can he get himself into pole position? Or even onto the front row, because there is a big gap there to do so. The McLaren of Jonas, in the end, it's good enough for third position. There was no improvement from Rich, so he stayed there. Nicky coming across the line in the Renault, yet to set a lap time. Good enough for 5th place, saving the best till last. Now it's only Jess and perhaps Schumacher who are out on flying laps, and there's your answer to whether Schumacher is gone off into the gravel and retired from the session. So that is it for qualifying, and in the end the Mercedes of Ivahanen set pole position half a second faster than anyone else. A dominant performance. That is fantastic. So at the end of the qualifying session, Ivahanen pole position, Rich nearly half a second behind Jonas Ulbricht on the third row, and Astronauti, Ivahanen's teammate, in fourth. You've got Nicky and Riley rounding out the third row. Gazaman in 7th, TC 8th, Chris 9th, but with that 5 place penalty, so that'll push him back to 14th, and he'll have to start on those soft tyres. Hoffner in 10th, Aaron, he'll be the first man on fresh tyres, 11th, Catboy Key, Kingan, Indecisive, Dexter, Truth, Jess Gamer, Schumacher also with a 5-second penalty, and then Mr. Stim didn't set a lap time in that qualifying. Now we might see some more aggressive setups with the car where they don't have to be as light on their tyres as they would normally, so maybe having to put a bit more fuel in if they're going to be pushing a bit harder, or we might have to see some more fuel saving if they're trying to make it as light as possible. It's all a delicate setup game that these drivers have got to contend with at the moment. Drivers just heading up their setup now. All just getting ready at the moment for this first race of the season. Precision will be on again at 25 past 7 and Pinnacle at 25 past 8. So drivers now getting ready to start the formation lap once they've all finished with their setups. Taking a bit of time, making sure that they don't ready up too early, because if you do that, of course, you will get yourself a penalty. We can see there are 20 cars on the grid at the moment. Getting started for the formation lap. So, just check the tyres that everyone is on, see what those outside of the top 10 have gone for. Of course, Aaron, he's the first one on fresh tyres on those mediums. Kingan, Indecisive, Dexter and Jess also going for the mediums. Schumacher on the hards. Riley inside of the top 10. He's also on the mediums, and everyone else is on the soft tyres. Just going to quickly head away from that to try and invite a commentator into the session. Hopefully we'll be able to get him in before the race starts. So who do you guys think is going to be the winner today? Who's going to take this championship lead after the first race? Same scheme as Formula 1, of course, in terms of points, with the one difference is if you're outside the top 10, you can get yourself a point for the fastest lap. White Fountain noted in here that some of the people did not read the steward's briefing, and they're going to find themselves with a 5-second penalty at the end of the race. That could make all the difference. I have seen it cost drivers victories before when they've read it up too early. And Ivahanen just taking everyone around on this formation lap. Can Schumacher recover? Bit of a bad qualifying session for them. The Ferrari first race without braking assist, of course, so just getting used to that. It almost looks like Monza qualifying here. Ivahanen taking it very steady on this formation lap. Doesn't want to take anything out of their tyres. Unsurprisingly, quite a bit of support for Ivahanen for the win. Someone here saying that they think just Chris might take it. 14th place at the moment. Maybe if there's an early safety car, there could be a chance for him to make his way up through the field, and it is definitely a heavy braking zone in the first corner and a great chance for overtaking. So what can Ivahanen do from pole position? What can Rich do from second? The 19 drivers here getting ready to start the race, and now waiting for the lights to come on. Here at Bahrain, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are on. When they go out, we will be racing here in Sakhir. Good start from Ivahanen. He's got himself the head of Rich. Jonas trying to get alongside the McLaren and the Toro Rosso going across, but heading into turn 1 in the end, it's Rich who's gone down the inside. He's got the lead. He's been tapped by Ivahanen. Jonas giving himself a chance round the outside now. He's got up into second, and Astronauti following in 4th position. Nicky 5th, Gazaman 6th. Everyone seems to have got through the first few corners cleanly, and it's Ivahanen still ahead, and Rich, he went for the lead, and it ended up costing him. And Odems has joined me in the party. Odems, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be kicking off the first race of the F1 Hub Racing. A bit short notice, I just arrived. I kind of have no clue what's going on, but I'm looking forward to commentating already because it's been a bit of a hectic start. Astronauti sort of, what was it, Nicky, sort of sent it down the inside from it. So, yeah, interesting start for sure.
Yeah, interesting start. We'll look at the winners and losers from that. You see Catboy, Key and Kingan and Chris going up 3 places. It was a nightmare start from TC, going down 6th position, and everyone who predicted that Ivahanen could take the win of this race. By the time we get round to having the DRS activated, which won't be this time round, obviously, after 2 laps, he's already got outside of that DRS zone, but things looking a lot closer for second place at the moment. Chris, how can he do in the Red Bull? He's got to make best use of them soft tyres. And Nicky, you can see him, Rich Astronauti going side by side down the main straight here, and Astronauti has taken that 3rd place. Is Nicky going to be able to fight?
The Toro Rosso wide into the last corner, just sort of threw himself off the track. Rick, not Nicky. Nicky's behind Rick, and yeah, if Rick keeps driving the way he is and missing his braking points, I won't be surprised to see Nicky. He's actually being overtaken right now by Gazaman.
Yeah, Gazaman making the way up for the field.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls having a pretty good start. They've got themselves up into 5th and 11th at the moment. Nicky's going to have to try and get back onto the back of that Toro Rosso, but Ivahanen pulling away just a bit more at the front of the field.
He's done very well to break out of DRS so quickly, and that's going to really help him because it looks like Jonas will be under pressure from Astronauti, and if those two get in a squabble, Ivahanen is absolutely laughing away.
Yeah, 3 DRS zones as well here, so it's very difficult to get away from the car behind you because it does seem to be a bit overpowered compared to other tracks. TC losing another place, but Ivahanen's Astronauti, so he's gone very wide.
Oh, Astronauti, yeah.
That could give Gazaman a chance going into the final corner, and this could compromise his line though, so Nicky might not be out of this. So Gazaman, there's a bit of contact between the two of them. That's going to force Astronauti outright, and Nicky's going to say thank you very much, I'm sure. Be careful not to get shoved into the pit lane. No, you have to make 2 stops, but you don't want to be doing one this early on. And Astronauti thought he was going to get up into 2nd, in the end down in 5th.
Yeah. I was on board with him, and he just completely missed his braking point and just drove himself off the track. It was very weird, and it's not the first time I've seen it today. It seems like these drivers are struggling to pick their braking points. But here he comes back from Gaza, trying to go around the outside, turns in a bit too early there, and nothing doing this time around. Yeah, Jonas has to deal with Rich behind him instead of Astronauti.
Yeah, so in the end, Jonas not really free from any pressure. 2.5 seconds behind Ivahanen at the moment, who just seems to be stretching the lead even more. We have seen a couple of pit stops already for TC and for Schumacher, and TC getting himself a 5-second penalty. So that's going to cost him later on in the race. He will have to take that at his next pit stop. And Schumacher in the pits again in the end. We'll see what battles we've got heading further down the field. Aaron beginning to look racy on those medium tyres, as are Riley and Kingan further ahead. So these could be ones to watch later on in the race, because they do still have to use two different types of tyres, of course.
I'm on board with Truth, and he was going side by side with that Williams and into that long right-hander, not so indecisive. He was going side by side with him into that long right-hander, not a very good place to go side by side, and a bit of contact there, and the Williams just muscled it.
Yeah, you have got to be
some movement down the field.
You have got to be very decisive when you're making a move into that corner.
Yeah.
Astronauti fighting back at Gazaman through turn 1 and 2. He's got himself back up into 4. Gazaman, of course, will have the DRS. No, he won't. So Astronauti might be able to get away a bit, but he's going to have to try and catch up to Jonas.
Oh,
Astronauti's gone
he's
very
gone
deep.
Completely wide again. It's the second time he's done that. Just entirely missing his braking point, and off he goes. He must be running no race line. He's not completely accustomed to the track or something. But he's just completely missed his braking point for the second time. And he has to do all that hard work again.
Yeah, looked a bit deep into that hairpin there as well at turn 8. And just giving Nicky a slight bit of a tap. I'm not sure the Renault driver will appreciate that. And that's given Astronauti the inside line and
surely
DRS.
He's has to back out of that one.
Oh, more contact bumping down the straight. Astronaut, it did cause a bit of controversy with some of the drivers last season, and looks like seems to be continuing that vein of form. I don't think Riley will want to get too involved at this stage in the race, knowing that he'll be able to go a bit longer. And all this is just allowing those front three drivers to pull away.
Yeah, Riley is on those. Is it? No, he's on. Yeah, everyone on softs. Forgot it's 2 stop mandatory.
Yeah,
with that rule, by the way.
Yeah, the rule that a lot of drivers have forgot, and it does lead to some chaotic races. So just Chris heading into the pit lane on those soft tyres. Riley's gone deep into turn 1. Is that going to give Catboy Key a chance? Perhaps not, but might get a better run. Now down towards turn 4. Riley having DRS as well, of course. Perhaps just neutralising that a bit from the Haas driver. But still, we've got now Aaron. He's making a move past the other Haas. Those mediums are going to start to become the better tyre anytime now.
It'll be interesting to see how the medium runners fare, because I'm not sure there was much point in starting on the mediums if you started inside the top 10. But yeah, Riley will be very interesting to watch out for in this race, especially if he manages to stay out of the thinking time bomb that is Astronauti.
Yeah, it was a brilliant lap from Riley, the only driver to get into the top 10 on those medium tyres, so we'll see later on whether that is any benefit for him. He's definitely holding his own in 7th at the moment. Gazaman does seem to have been able to escape though from Astronauti, no doubt helped by the Mercedes trouble in the braking zone. Might be just as you said, maybe he's just played around with like some of the assists slightly and trying to get used to them, or is he just not had enough practice around the track? Wait and see if he improves later on in the race. I mean, he couldn't have done that too badly if he started 4th on the grid.
Right. I think once he gets accustomed to the track, I think he'll be... he seemed pretty quick, to be fair. So I think once he gets properly accustomed to the track, and I'm on board with Rich, and he's just behind Jonas. He seems quicker, but he's not doing anything. He's just chilling behind Jonas. Pretty much using no ERS. He's just happy chilling behind him.
Yeah, seems pretty comfortable in that 2nd place at the moment. Whether he feels he hasn't got the pace to go any faster than Jonas and try and catch up to Ivahanen, or if he's just trying to save a bit of fuel and tyres for later on in the stint or later on in the race, we'll have to wait and see. But he's now 4.2 seconds off the leader. Ivahanen looking nice and smooth on his own. We've seen both Hassers come in on the last lap. Mr. Stims setting fastest lap of the race in the Toro Rosso, so no qualifying time for him, but still doing pretty well at this moment, pace-wise anyway, down in 18th. Schumacher having been lapped already, so it's been a bit of a nightmare debut for the Ferrari driver. Rich is looking close to Jonas, but probably just He's definitely keeping in touch, but doesn't look close enough. As he said, he's not using full ERS. Not looking that interested in going for the overtake at the moment.
I think if I were him, the best thing to do would be overtake Jonas right before the pit stops. So, I think that's the best time to overtake. He's going to stick it up into overtake though, so let's see if he's going to try it now.
There's DRS open.
Defend.
Jonas not really defending there.
Astronauti and Gazvan both in the pits. Red Bull and Mercedes.
The Red Bull Mercedes in the pits. That's putting Nicky up into 4th position. Riley, King and Ivan. We've got them 3 medium runners all in a line now with Dexter and Indecisive not too far behind either. And Riley does seem to have closed up to Nicky slightly, so could be hard for the Renault to defend over the next few laps.
Almost hit Jess there. Jess, of course, one of our cars. And it's a virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car, I think that was maybe for there was a spinning Toro Rosso, I think, in the final sector. So anyone who's heading towards the pit lane now, which unfortunately for the leaders is none of them, would have had a great opportunity then to save some time. So Mr. Stim's heading into the pits. Gazzaman's got himself a penalty for colliding with Jess in the end. So one of the mainstays of One Hub colliding with the head of commentary. I'm not sure she'll be too happy about that, but they both look to have got away fairly unscathed.
If it was the one I saw, it was a tiny little touch, but I think he may have given her a tiny little touch afterwards. And yeah, it's a bit of a glitch in the virtual safety car. If you touch someone during it, you just get slapped with a 5-second penalty, even if there's no consequence to it whatsoever. So Gaz is not going to be happy. That's pretty much hindered his race a lot, actually, because this is a mandatory piece of course, so they need to hit again.
Yeah, virtual safety car has ended, and Eva Hannon and Rich have taken this opportunity to dive into the pit lane, so probably ended just a tiny bit too early for them. That promotes Jonas into the lead of this race now in the McLaren. Let's see what he can do, because Rich did seem to get past him pretty comfortably as soon as he tried to.
Gaz down the inside of Jess. He didn't want to wait around, and there's actually hindered Astronauti quite a bit.
Yeah,
Gaz played that one pretty well.
Astronauti with DRS open and Chris trying to follow as well. Jess has gone really deep into turn 1. I'm not sure if that was just trying to keep out of the way of these cars behind her, because some are on faster tyres, Gazzaman especially, and they are on the fresher tyres, so Jess losing a lot of positions there. He's got Rich there as well, but Eva Hannon has come out ahead of these guys, as you would expect, in a bit of free air. He's got Indecisive up ahead of him. Rich
is behind these guys though, so he got undercut quite handily there. He's behind by a decent amount too.
Yeah, I don't think he had a penalty, so I'm not sure if he just got held up in the pit lane, but he'll be gutted by that, because behind Catboy Key, Chris, Astronauti, Guzman, all these people who pitted earlier than him, the undercut has worked fantastically for them. He's also now 10 seconds behind Eva Hannon, so something definitely went off in the pit stop for the Toro Rosso driver.
Yeah, we'll see Jonas. Jonas will be a better indicator of what happened there.
Yeah, and he is coming in this lap, and I expect Nicky to follow as well. So Riley now in the Alfa Romeo leading this race. How long is he going to keep those medium tyres on for, knowing that he has to make 2 pit stops? So it might be worth getting rid of them and changing to the soft sooner rather than later. Got Aaron 3.5 seconds behind at the moment. Gazzaman unsurprisingly setting fastest lap of the race. He's on the soft tyres, as is Nicky. Most of the others who have pitted have gone to the mediums.
Gazza's right behind Jonas, so that undercut did work very well, but Jonas have a nice set of mediums. Soft, so...
See how racy Gazzaman's
a bit of an
going to be.
alternate strategy for Gazza compared to everyone else. He's decided to go back onto the softs, and most people actually didn't decide to do that, so... Interesting stuff from Gazza.
Yeah, he's definitely using that pace at the moment, but he's going to have to try and get past Jonas pretty quickly. Eva Hannon further up ahead. He's managed to get ahead of Indecisive, so Mercedes driver, the net leader of this race, in 5th position at the moment. Gazza finding himself a bit stuck behind Jonas, and the longer this happens, the worse this strategy is looking for him. Mr. Stim, fastest lap of the race now, way down in 18th.
Interested to see if no car within the next few laps, Gazaman will be very happy because he could just go hard to the end.
Yeah, there might even be a few others who might go for that, but I'd be surprised. There is a yellow flag, in fact, so this could be his opportunity. We'll see what it is. Stim has spun coming out of turn 3. Can't see if there's any damage to the car, but hopefully there won't be any interruption. He's coming out on track right ahead of Riley, in fact, and there is some moves further down the field. Nicky using those soft tyres, trying to get ahead of Chris now. This is for the final points paying position, the Renault. And I'm surprised Chris there outbraking the Renault on the harder tyres. So Chris has definitely got some grip and pace at the moment. Nicky perhaps just playing the long game, knowing that their opportunity will come sooner rather than later. We're on lap 10 of this Bahrain Grand Prix already, and it is Riley, Aaron and Kingan, the top 3. Those guys and Dexter and Indecisive have yet to pit. The leader out of those who are pitted, the pole man, Iberhanen.
I think Gaz's tyres are pretty much finished peak performance, and they're now dipping down. He's losing touch to Jonas just a bit, and the astronaut is right on his case. So Gazaman will be coming to the pit soon. That soft stint probably wasn't the best for him, actually. When did he pit? He pit about
lap 6.
Lap 6. So he would have to go to lap 12, and then he'd have to go onto the hard, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
lap 12.
To be honest, I thought most drivers would try and go soft, medium. As we can see there, one of the cars, Jonas, really getting held up by the traffic of Mr. Stim there, so that's not ideal. Actually, it's Indecisive, so sorry. They are battling for position, of course. Indecisive on those older medium tyres. Jonas has got ahead. Gazaman will follow through as well. Mr. Stim's retired from the session in the pit lane. Indecisive sort of finding himself in the middle of everyone's battle here as Astronauti breaks late, gets past him. Can he now attack Gazaman? 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. Chris not too far behind as well, but that DRS just helping all these drivers stay ahead of the others. That is something that seems to happen quite a lot around some of these circuits. You sort of get stuck in a DRS train.
Yes, this happens, especially around here with 3 DRS zones. You can be like a proper 3, 4, 10 stones zone, but just still stick around behind them because the DRS, and even save your ERS a bit too. So if you play your cards, it's a lot about managing the race. This track, it's one of my favorite tracks in the calendar because of this reason.
It's definitely one.
Smart.
It's definitely one I enjoy as well. Rich, he played pretty smart with DRS earlier, but he's lost a lot of time in the pit stops. Now still behind Catboy Key for 12th and 13th. So the front row man, he'd have been hoping to be right up where Jonas is. Obviously, he was ahead of him before the pit stops. Now finds himself 7 places behind the McLaren. Riley into the pits on lap 11. So, and Kingan as well. Aaron carrying on in the Ferrari. So Aaron now leading the race on lap 12. How many more laps can he squeeze out of these medium tyres? And Riley going on to the mediums at the end of his pit stop. So he's not feeling too confident about the life of the softs. Neither is Kingan.
Yep.
So it looks like for these guys...
See, as I was saying, I guess soft mediums isn't happening. Well, I guess it is happening if you're Jonas and you feel like it. But putting on lap 6 means that you're probably not going to be taking a strategy. So the guys on the softs right now will probably be going on to the hards, and the guys on the mediums will probably be going on. Yeah, we'll probably just do mediums.
It looks medium, soft. Most of them have gone for.
Yeah. It looks medium, soft unless you start on... I'm confused because I don't think guys can do medium, soft. I think we'll have to go into the hards. The guys in the mediums right now, I think, can go after again.
Yeah, because will be a lot lighter, obviously, towards the end. So Gazaman, he's going to have to... Well, he definitely can't go on the softs. We know that. You have to use 2 different types of tyres, as does Nicky. Schumacher retired from the race, so we've now got 17 runners left here. And Aaron, he's definitely, I feel, he's going to try and do medium, soft, because he seems to be trying to stretch these mediums a lot longer than everyone else.
Yeah. this is, yeah, 12 laps on the medium is pretty much what you'd be doing if you were one-stopping, so you'll definitely be going on to the medium soft strategy. But I love the 2-stop mandatory rule. It just changes everything. It really fixes everything up, I feel.
It's so good. It causes so many different strategies, and especially if there is any big incidents on the first lap, you can lose a front wing, and you don't really eliminate you from the race that much because you know that you've still got to do one more pit stop, and you can do a more normal strategy pretty much. There's a lot of battling happening in between Rich, Catboy Key, and Riley Bays for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Rich has had enough of being stuck behind the Haas. That Alfa Romeo as well on the fresher medium tyres. Is he going to go for the inside? Just backs out slightly. Cars, as we know, are very prone to spinning if you get it wrong on the inside, especially around that corner. Just ask Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, he was cautious, but you feel like he had a chance to get through the hash there, and it would have been pretty important if he could latch onto the back of Rich, who you have to say he's pretty much he should be the one in favour in that little puzzle because he's on the fresher mediums, and yeah, he should be getting through these guys as quickly as possible if he wants to really maximize his strategy. So, be cautious, but at the end of the day, cautiousness does win you the race. So, yeah, just Chris and Nicky are now locked in battle.
Yeah, Chris and Nicky in battle. Nicky on those soft tyres, so maybe they're starting to get a bit more worn. Aaron has pitted finally and has gone on to the soft tyres, so we'll see whether that works out better, making those mediums last. So, Eva Hannon back in the lead of this race from Jonas, Gazaman, Astronauti, Chris and Nicky. And Astronauti, he's looking very racy now that Gazaman on the 7-lap old soft tyres. They'll definitely be past their sell-by date.
Yeah, Gazaman's doing well to keep his tyres somewhat fresh. I'm not sure how far. If you can get them to like if you get them to do 9 laps, I think you'll probably do that soft mediums. But it looks like he's just about keeping touch with Jonas. I know Astronauti has tried to overtake him a few times, but he's
Chris has gone off. Sorry. Chris went off there, going through the S's. I've seen it happen quite a lot to a few other drivers, looking not to retire, but big damage to his front wing.
Chris in the Red Bull, right?
Yes.
6th place?
6th place, yeah.
That'll be a decent race too. Open 6th.
Was right on the back of that tail. He's now surely going to have to pit this lap, and his strategy of soft mediums looks like it might be ruined. Catboy Key and Riley still battling behind.
Rich got caught up by caught up by the speed change. Yeah, pretty much. Chris couldn't take that corner flat out, and Rich didn't really think about that. I don't think he had front wing damage, and hit right into the back of him. So.
Yeah. I did see some front wing flying up in the air, and he has damaged his front wing, so bit of a nightmare for Chris. And you can see Aaron, he's come out just behind all these guys on those soft tyres, so surely he's going to be looking pretty good at the moment.
No, Riley will be brave.
Ooh!
Kenyon had to go on Aaron there. That was audacious, especially considering the tyre disadvantage.
Yeah, and if Riley didn't think that he needed to get a move on, now that he's got Aaron behind him on fresher tyres, on softer tyres, that should definitely give him the hurry up that he needs.
The problem for Roddy is that Catboy is just about in DRS. Will Aaron go for it here? Yes, he will. Ooh, forceful, but had to be done. I think Roddy needs to take notes there.
Yeah, that's what you need to do when you're on the fresher tyres. You have to think of some different places to try and get past the car in front, because Rich, he's going to be holding up these guys now with his front wing damage, so Aaron, he's going to want to get clear sooner rather than later to make this strategy work. He'll be on the softs for his final stint as well, so expect to see him flying up the field. He's got a better run than Catboy Key, but is he going to try and cut back? But the thing, I'm not sure whether Catboy Key's attacking or defending there, but he's completely cut the curb.
Aaron's done very well here to pick his spot. He's sided through these people very quickly. Ooh, he's got a bit of a tap there by Catboy, but that's not going to hinder him too much. In fact, I'll expect Rich is going to pit actually. Yes, he is. So Aaron will climb up into 6 spots. Ooh, late move there. I'm not too sure about that one.
Very late move from Aaron. They all had DRS. Aaron getting it off of Rich, of course, and now he's in a bit of...
And here comes Riley. Oh, just stuck his nose in there and almost spun.
That gave Kingham the opportunity.
Yeah,
to get
Kingham just
into
sooked right past.
8th place.
Although he gives the position back, which is odd.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kingham actually may have just cut the corner slightly, so he might have been forced to cut that position. And TC's done a decent job after that early pit stop. Got himself up into 10th place, 13 laps on these medium tyres. So if he's done it once, should be able to do it again when he pits either this lap or next lap, you would expect.
Yep.
Out in front though, Eva Hannon, 6 seconds ahead, all looking nice and straightforward at the moment, but we've seen a few near incidents, and the safety car could easily chop that gap down.
Gasserman has done an amazing job on these softs. How he's still chilling behind Jonas is crazy to me. These softs should... But he's doing absolutely fine.
Yeah, and the fact that Astronauty as well.
If he doesn't pit.
I expected Astronauty to be past him by now, if I'm being honest. I think Gasserman is heading into the pits.
Yeah. That wasn't even like a pit like he had to get rid of those tires. That was more of a, well, I might as well pit now. It's seeming very on those softs. So good stint for Gasserman. And actually, Nicky's caught up to these two as well. So I imagine he's going to be able to cut them when he goes on to the...
He'll be on the mediums at the end, Nicky.
Yeah.
But yeah, the soft seems to be lasting a bit longer for these guys. So maybe some of those, like Riley and Kingham, might regret not changing onto them at their first pit stop after starting on the mediums. But Riley at the moment, he was side by side with Catboy Key at the moment and just can't find a way past. And it's like you said, how important it is to get away, because Aaron is nearly 3 seconds up the road from these guys now.
Everybody has some sort of wing down, because you'd expect them to be a lot quicker than 6-lap-old mediums. 6-lap-old.
Yeah, six laps older than Catboy.
Almost.
Kingham, he's actually not at the best exit there either, but...
Yeah, his entry was a bit wild too. He almost hit the back of Riley.
Yeah, it's very easy to get the corner wrong there. Just braking and turning, especially, I don't know what assist some of these guys are running, but if you've got ABS turned off, it's very common to see a snapped front wheel there.
Speaking of, Nicky just did just that. He snatched the front wheel. He almost hit the back of Astronauti, but now he comes to the pits. He was very close to hitting the back of Astronauti, who is now Jonas.
And easily done in the end by Astronauti. Oh, thought he'd got the move all done there, but Jonas had other ideas, and they're still going to be side by side.
Jonas, very unorthodox, but he might keep it. It seems Astronauti just sort of expected Jonas to just give up the position, but Jonas was having none of that, and he's taking it back.
Yeah,
sneak attack there.
Astronauti left, I think, a car's weight of plus 1 millimetre there, and that was enough for Jonas to fight back round the outside, and well held to keep on to that second position. Riley has now finally got past Catboy Key for that 5th position, so you'd expect the Alfa Romeo to just pull away slightly before he makes his second pit stop. You expect Catboy, TC, Hoffner, might not be too long before some of those guys start heading into the pit lane. Astronauti and Jonas still fighting.
Yeah.
Now, will Astronauti just pit a bit earlier, try and get the undercut done? He'll have to go onto the mediums, almost certainly, if he pits now, whereas Jonas, having 2 lap fresher tyres, probably hold on a bit longer and pit towards the softs to the end. So, Astronauti, that probably explains why he's so eager to get it done.
I think whoever pits first will probably get caught up in that little Gasserman Nicky. Gasserman is that, so Nicky's now ahead of him. That's going to hamper him a lot.
Yeah, now Astronauti's trying it round the outside this time, and Jonas not having any answer this time around, but he'll have DRS on this straight. Looks a bit too far back. Astronauti going defensive just in case for a bit then, but the move is done, and slight love tap from Jonas onto the back of Astronauti there. Truth gets himself a 5-second penalty. He's headed into pits, as has Catboy Key. So we're seeing a few more of the drivers now head for their second stops of the race. You just see there Nicky, Gazzaman, Catboy Key, Rich, Chris and Truth. They're all safe from getting a penalty. Will we see anyone forget it tonight? I'm sure they've had it all drilled into them enough times by White Fountain not to forget, and despite that, in the heat of the moment, you never know what might happen.
Gazzaman has lost out so much to Nicky. It's crazy. Shame that virtual safety car penalty just sort of unraveled his race, because he was looking good for a podium. But now he'll probably be looking to get, I don't know, 5th, 6th.
Yeah, it did put him on.
We have to remember, even Ann is just run away with this race completely.
Yeah, not getting much TV time, 8.5 seconds up the road, and there has been a spinner, and it is TC in the Renault. Wasn't able to catch it, lost his front wing. Happens a lot over the curb there at turn 14. Big damage to the front wing. Won't in the end cost him too much going around with that, because 16 laps on the mediums, probably coming in anyway this time around. Astronauty into the pits as we just see Gazzaman go by. Nicky sitting fastest lap of the race. Another thing that did cost Gazzaman in the end was he actually came out just behind Truth because of that penalty, and Truth was on extremely old medium tyres, so that held the Red Bull driver up even more.
It did. Where Astronauty will come out, it's behind Nicky, yes, so Nicky is going to have a fight. Astronauty's probably going to, well, he was already ahead of Jonas, so Jonas will have a bit fresher soft tires. We'll see if that can work out for him later in the race. But yeah, Nicky, Astronauty, and Jonas look like they're going to all be battling out for that second place.
Yeah, they're all going to be fighting, and will Aaron be able to get himself involved? He's a bit further back, obviously, of course. Still has one more pit stop to go, but he'll be on the freshest soft tyres of all of them you'd expect towards
Riley's catching him too.
The race. But yeah, Riley doing a good job. Now that he's got free of Catboy Key, he has escaped, and Kingan hasn't been able to follow in the Williams. So it might look done for first place as Eva Hannon heads into the pit lane, but I think second place, pretty much anyone's guess at the moment.
I think what Riley has to be careful of is that, as Aaron pits, is that Catboy doesn't undercut him, because Catboy pit a lot earlier than him. But it's up to Riley's pace to see if he actually doesn't get undercut, and if he does, that's going to be pretty disastrous for him. He should be pitting this time soon. When you think about it, his stint on the mediums is, at this point, 9-10 laps. It's very short compared to the rest of the grid. So his tyre wear has been good, but unfortunately, good tyre wear isn't really going to help you out that much in a 2-stop mandatory format. So yeah, he'll have the freshest softs of the grid, I imagine, when he pits.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Aaron come in that early, especially after we saw what Gazzaman managed to do. Gazza managing 10 laps on the soft tyres, Aaron only managing 6, so Ferrari down in 8th at the moment. He'll be looking to fight his way up through the field. Astronauty in a bit of free traffic in 6th, so Nicky, the next car, as you said, Odems. Expect to see them fighting with Jonas, who on lap 21 currently has an 8.8 second lead, but of course Jonas, Riley and Kingan all have to pit. Eva Hannon does not, and it's looking good for a pole and victory perhaps for the Mercedes driver. Some battles further down the field. Catboy Key, Rich and Chris for 10th, 11th and 12th position. Catboy Key on the freshest tyres and on the medium tyres. We've got one of your fans in the chat, Odems. Chris on the older medium tyres. Rich obviously to pit earlier on, of course, because of that damage. Jonas has come into the pit, so we'll see where he comes out roughly compared to Astronauty, and it's going to be behind the Mercedes, but ahead of Gazzaman, so 2 seconds the gap. Now the undercut not really gaining Astronauty a whole lot of time, but will the 2 lap fresher tyres be enough for Jonas to steal that place? Further down you've still got Rich, Catboy side by side into turn 1. Catboy, he's going to try and hold it off round the outside of 1. That gives him the inside for 2, but not able to do so, and his line's just been compromised. And Chris says thank you very much. He might be able to get 2 in one go here in the Red Bull. He's just tapped the back of Rich, and Rich has gone round He's done well to hold it, but Chris just got a bit too close for comfort there with Rich. And Vittorio Rosso loses out 2 places.
Yeah, I guess the stewards are going to look into that one. Riley still yet to pit, so and Kingen, so both of them going to have very short, soft, super soft stints. And yeah, Jonas is catching Astronauti, so how the turntables? It looks like I did think that Astronauti was the quicker driver out of these two on outright pace, but interesting to see if Jonas can use his old strategy and catch up to him. Astronauti, what is that, 3 seconds? So Nicky, he's not caught him up that quickly, has he?
No, Nicky's medium tyre is obviously fairly fresh, but you'd still expect the softs to catch him up. Eva Hannon, unsurprisingly, fastest lap of the race, and he's all over the back of Kingen. These two on completely different strategies who won't want to get involved in any contact. And the Mercedes, I was going to say should be straightforward, but Kingen, well within his rights to fight for the place, but he's not going to have any answer to the pace of the fresh tyres on that Mercedes, and Kingen in the end dropping down into 3rd place. These very short stints that him and Riley are going to have to do on the mediums is why I'm surprised that they didn't just try and stretch that medium stint a bit longer in the first instance to try and get onto the softs, because that's what Aaron did, and he's going to come out well ahead of these guys once they've pitted on admittedly slightly older tyres, but should still have enough to hold off, I believe, till the end of the race.
Yeah, Aaron I think has played this very well. The lap you pit is so important, and I think Kingen and Riley, maybe they were caught up in the hubris of their fresh tires. They don't really want to, like, off of them. They've gotten a bit too attached to them emotionally. But I think it's about time they let it go, because, you know, while they are in good nick, it's still better to just do that pit stop quickly as you can. Get onto the softs. 8 laps is a pretty good range for them. A bit beyond that, as Riley does pit now, and so is Kingen.
So Riley and Kingen pit into that approach. Eva Hannon into the lead of the race. Nicky, that pit is slightly early and going on to the mediums. That soft medium strategy got them up into 2nd place at the moment, and Astronaut is not catching up that rapidly. Ammon is catching up rapidly though to Gazaman. DRS open, inside line. Ammon taking 5th place on those soft tyres, and in the end Riley and Kingen come out in 7th and 8th position. So I think the big battle to watch towards the end of the race, Aaron and Gazaman might get a bit tasty if Aaron's tyres start heading off, but it's Nicky, Astronauti and Jonas for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. Nicky doing a good job holding on those mediums.
Riley's what, 6 seconds behind Gazaman?
It's definitely doable.
Is it? I don't think it is. Definitely waited too long to get off those mediums, and now he's going to pay the price for Gazman has a bit of breathing room. And he also has Aaron's slipstream to enjoy the warmth of.
Yeah, just staying within the second throughout them 3 DRS zones, just going to be enough, possibly, to keep him ahead of them. And Riley and Kingen just need to look at Aaron 8 seconds further up the road. Perhaps softs were the best tyres to go on for the second stint for those that started on the mediums. Eva Hannon, first man in the race underneath 1 minute 30. So looking to get all 26 points from this first race. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and it's Catboy Key who has gone around in the same place that TC did, coming out just behind his teammate. Was close with Rich and Chris, so not sure if there was any contact, but front wing looks clean, so both Hassers now out of the points with just 4 and a bit laps remaining for the leader of this race. 4 seconds ahead, it's Eva Hannon, then Nicky, Astronauti and Jonas Aaron. They're your top 5 at the moment.
Someone in the chat said, "Where's Odems? I hope he crashes." I am sitting at home in the comfort of my own room, not racing this season. So no crashes could possibly take place unless they are my PS4 system.
To be honest, that did happen for me about 5 minutes before this commentary started, so it's still a possibility for me, maybe.
Fair enough.
Gazaman, yeah, like you said, he's hanging on to the back of Aaron, and that's probably all he's going to need to do to hold off from Riley and Kingan, who aren't exactly setting the timing screens alight on those soft tyres. Jonas is catching up ever so slightly, I think, to Astronaut. Nicky's doing a fantastic job of just keeping that gap at 3 seconds.
Yeah, Astronau's losing time. Maybe he has wing damage or something, I don't know. But yeah, Jonas catching him, and Nicky's kind of pulling away from him. Astronaut, his pace that he showed early in the race, that was compounded by the mistakes, is now sort of gone. And now it's just him being the sitting duck a bit.
Yeah, might be paying that price for that pace, because he's low on fuel, low on ERS, especially when you compare to Jonas behind. Nicky in front, low on ERS, but at the moment just in free air, nice and comfortable. 3.5 seconds behind Ivahanen, pretty much the closest anyone has been to Ivahanen since the start of this race. It's been a fantastic final stint from the Renault driver so far.
I'd say that's a pretty good gap to have to Ivahanen, considering Nicky was like, what, 6th at the start?
Yeah, and I think dropped quite a bit further back. Obviously, was behind Gazaman, but Gazaman had that 5-second penalty. But Nicky seems to have done well. Soft medium has worked well for them. Got him ahead of Astronauti and Jonas, and might just get them a 2nd place.
He's done very well, and as you said, he's 3 seconds behind Ivahanen. Ivahanen was 3 seconds clear of Jonas within lap 4. And to have clawed that back just shows Nicky's pace has been tremendous today. And he's sort of done that under the radar, hasn't he? Sort of, not flashy, but yeah, he's done very well to take that 2nd place comfortably. And yeah, Jonas sort of losing to Ashnodi a bit. But Ashnodi has pretty much no ERS. Jonas, if he knew that, I think he would definitely push to get in that DRS at least.
Yeah, running out of time, 3 laps remaining, the gap staying constant at about 1.4 seconds. Gazaman still hanging on to the back of Aaron as they're just lapping Jess at the moment. Jess 17th and last. The only car that has been lapped, Schumacher and Mr. Stim did retire earlier on. Still some battles further down the field for 9th and 10th. Chris has kept ahead of Rich, who on those hard tyres might find it difficult to fight back, but should still look good for a point at the moment. And outside the points, battling as hard as they can. Dexter's lost it actually coming through turn 4, and the truth says thank you very much. Takes 13th place off the Alfa Romeo. We'll just have a look at the fastest lap situation for those inside and outside the top 10. It looks as though...
I wonder whose idea that was as well. It was also me.
You seem to have some good ideas, don't you?
I do, yeah.
You don't get enough credit for these, do you? I don't think. Like, we're going to let everyone know that you're coming up with some...
I should patent them. I should patent them.
Yeah.
I should get paid for this, basically.
Yeah. Right to Nick, see if I'll give you some of the race premium fees.
Gazaman. Yeah, Gazaman just overtook Aaron there, so Aaron's tyres have finally hit their peak. Gazaman is taking advantage, but have a go back at him. It's got a good run.
Aaron did seem to struggle in the first stint on them softs, in fact paying the price by having to pit a bit earlier on than he would have liked. Gazaman's just going to hold the inside line. Aaron not having the pace to go round. Gazaman, where would he be maybe without that penalty? He could have been up there with Jonas, Astronauti and Nicky, but now 5th place. Been a decent performance from him at the moment, and Astronauti still not catching up to Nicky, so I think that battle is definitely gone, and Jonas not really catching up either.
Nope. And Astronauti still has no ERS, so I'm surprised Jonas isn't just styling up to the back of him.
Yeah, no ERS.
Astronauti has pretty much nothing.
No ERS, low on fuel. This could be a very interesting final lap for Astronauti. At the moment, Mercedes, both drivers on the podium, and it's only them and Red Bull that have got both drivers in the points at the moment. So it's looking good for Mercedes. Here we go, final lap then. Ivahanen 3.2 seconds ahead of Nicky. The question is, can Astronauti hold on? Absolutely no. ERS, Jonas not really pushing at that bit. Best opportunity might be a drag to the finish line because it looks quite a bit further back as Aaron retakes that 5th place. Can he hang on to that for the rest of the lap? Because Gazaman is right behind. Surely Aaron's going to feel the need to go defensive. Gazaman, it would have been a bit of a lunge. Thinks better of it, just hangs on to that 6th place for now.
It looks like these two are having a pretty good battle. Reminiscent of myself and Lewis last season around this track. It's also a very good battle. Who won that one? Jonas has finally gotten that DRS of Astronauti. So, yeah, Astronauti's gonna probably be fine. But I feel like Jonas really should have... I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, perhaps Jonas should have attacked a tiny bit more in the early stages. Astronauti, we know he's been low on fuel and low on ERS for a while, so maybe he'll just be able to hang on. We'll have to wait and see. But Eva Hannon, he's going to come across the finish line to take the first victory of the season. The winner of the Podium Bahrain race, Nicky, in second. In the end, Astronauti just holds on for third across the line from Jonas. And it's going to be Aaron moving up into 5th place from 10th on the grid. Gazaman behind in 6th. Riley in 7th position. Seems to have been a very clean race from penalties. They haven't have to do any maths to try and work out who's finishing where. Kingan, he's 8th, but even with penalties, he'll be able to keep that position. Rich will be in 9th, and Chris rounding out the top 10 in his Red Bull. So a great job from Eva Hannon, winner of round 1. Fastest lap, pole position, won the race, didn't lead every lap, so no Grand Chelem for the Finn, but a fantastic result, no less. So Eva Hannon with the win, second win in one hub. He'll be delighted with that. 26 points, perfect start to the championship. Great start for Mercedes as well, with Astronauti just about holding on to that 3rd place. Maybe, just maybe, if Joe was got a bit attacking earlier on, he could have taken that podium slot.
I'm back. Who won?
Eva Hannon, surprisingly. I don't know where it came from, but yeah.
How do you manage that?
Eva Hannon with a win. Nicky meeting the Mercedes sandwich on the podium. Great final stint from them. So Odems, driver of the day.
Driver of the day. I want to say, I mean, even on light stuff like victory, dominated. He's the easy choice, but I'm really impressed by Nicky. 5th to 2nd, gap of only 3 seconds in the end. I think he might have been possibly the quickest driver on the day in terms of strategy, consistency, and pace all put together. So I want to say him. So between those two for me, I guess I'll say Eva Hannon.
You're going Eva Hannon. Yeah, I think I'm going to just have to go with Nicky, just for purely that on the older tyres at the end of the race, on the harder tyres, didn't lose any time to Eva Hannon and managed to pull away from Astronauti, who we know was struggling with fuel and ERS issues. So yeah, unsurprisingly perhaps, and a bit boringly, our 2 choices for driver of the day are the top 2, and you will be able to vote on them later on. But the results: Eva Hannon, Nicky, Astronauti, Jonas, Aaron, Gazaman, Riley, King and Rich, and Chris in the points. Hoffner, Catboy Key, Dexter, TC, Indecisive Truth, and Jess Gamer, the rest of the finishers. And it was Schumacher and Mr. Stim, the only 2 retirements from the first round. I bet you're glad you came now, Odems, because there was plenty of action throughout the field.
I am. It was a good one. Usually, I prefer to commentate on the precision tier because they're all crazy people. But that was last season. I'm not sure if that might have changed. All I know is this race had its tinge of craziness, but it was very controlled craziness. Some good performances, and yeah, it was a good one. Bahrain always delivers pretty much. So
yeah.
not quite a battle for the lead, but it was a good race.
Yeah, good race. We'll have to see now if Precision are carrying on their craziness, because they're just coming to the end of their qualifying session now, and then Pinnacle will start at 8:30. So thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back next week. Hopefully Liam might be able to fix his headset and he won't have it disintegrate on his head again. From the French Grand Prix, the Paul Ricard circuit, hopefully we'll get some action there as well. Will Everhanen be able to continue the fantastic form that he's shown in this first race, or will we see two winners from the first two races? You'll have to join us next time, same place, to find out. Quick mention as well to our sponsors, Next Level Racing. If you want to check out their projects, use the link below. For myself and Odems, it's good night.